On February 22nd, the heavyweight division will take centre stage in Saudi Arabia as Daniel Dubois defends his IBF world title against the experienced and former champion Joseph Parker in a crucial showdown. This bout is set against the backdrop of the stacked card headlined by Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol's light heavyweight rematch, but Dubois and Parker could very well steal the spotlight in this clash. For Dubois, this fight represents another step in the pursuit of redemption and greatness after a statement-making victory over Anthony Joshua. The 26-year-old has his sights on the rematch with Alexander Usyk, but first he must deal with this challenge of Parker. The former WBO champion has really rebuilt his career with impressive recent wins over Deontay Wilder and Zhang. He'll very much see this as an opportunity to regain his championship status and solidify him as one of the best heavyweights in the world. With his blend of experience, durability and skill, he presents a tough test for Dubois, who has to prove he's not looking past this fight. So let's break down the tactical approaches that could determine the outcome of this high-stakes heavyweight clash.
I go into this fight, I'm going to be too smart, too fast. Movement's going to be on point, I'm going to be deliberate, precise. I'm going to be aggressive. That's it.
Cut it.
Let's start off with the defending champ Daniel Dubois. He's very much the in-form heavyweight and ready to get another big name on his resume against Joseph Parker. However, as much as he will be the favourite going into this fight, he'll need to be very careful in looking past the New Zealander, who is also in great form. It makes sense to look at Dubois' last two fights versus Anthony Joshua and his last outing in Saudi against Hrgovic. In both fights, he immediately looked to start the fight fast and with intensity by looking to set the pace with his ramrod jab, helping to push back his competitors while also setting up his big right hand.
Shot, and now a right hand for Dubois. Okay, Hrgovic, I think. Dubois is confident. Dubois is confident. He steps up, just takes the sting of the right hand.
Personally, I feel setting the intense pressure with his jab is going to be key to really build that momentum in this fight. We have seen in the past Parker struggle when opponents dictate the pace, not allowing him to have the time or space to react accordingly. Just look at his defeats versus Joyce, Joshua and White. Furthermore, they all dictated the fight with their lead hand for the most part, and I feel that being the much heavier handed of the two, it could pose a real problem. Parker also has quite a fluid lead hand guard at times, going from high to low throughout the fight, while he much prefers to parry the jab with the backhand or block with the lead hand forearm. However, he can be quite inconsistent and leading him to get caught in between his own guard. I would really like to see Dubois really cause some problems by mixing up his jab a bit more, such as targeting Parker's body, but I can't deny that Dubois is a bit of a headhunter with the jab. You just need to look at his stats. He much prefers to use his jab to set up the right hand to the head or body, or to get him on the inside, so then he can target his opponents with hooks. Although I do just think he needs to throw in multiples. Parker can move back in straight lines at times, and Dubois actually does a good job using that to close the range or go on the offensive. Oftentimes he just doubles up the jab before setting up that overhand right or right to the body. And it also allows him to get on the inside to fire that left hook. Parker also has a tendency to shell up and become desperate under this pressure, rather looking to try and clinch or tie you up. Dubois' inside game is also underrated as he uses his head and throws hard hooks to the body, followed by uppercuts. If he can consistently force Parker into those uncomfortable exchanges, this is where I really think Dubois' power could really start to break him down in my opinion. We've also seen Parker hurt multiple times in his career, particularly against big punchers like Zhang, Joe Joyce and Dillian White. If Dubois lands clean, Parker's durability will be put to the test in these moments. And unlike Zhang, who didn't have the energy to go for the finish after putting him down, at 26, Dubois has youth on his side, while Parker at 33 has a lot more wear and tear in my opinion. I still do feel Dubois needs to be careful when closing the range though. Parker is a very underrated counterpuncher, particularly with the right hand. Dubois needs to be mindful when throwing those powerful single shots without moving his head or resetting the guard, or you'll simply see him get caught out. If Daniel just applies intelligent pressure by using feints and using level changes, he could effectively time him and make Parker hesitant to counter while pushing him back towards the ropes.
Including Daniel Dubois, inside the final 20 seconds, wobbled by a left hand, cut by another one, the referee's having a look, is Dubois going to get the late stoppage? Yes he is!
Now, let's take a look at the challenger, Joseph Parker. And it feels like a lifetime ago that Parker was a world champion. In fact, the last time he held a title was in his fight against Anthony Joshua in 2018, which just goes to show how difficult it can be to earn another title shot. However, since teaming up with Andy Lee, Parker seems to have found a trainer who truly understands him again, bringing out the best of him both technically and tactically. He's proven he can stick to a solid game plan even when facing adversity, as seen in his recent victories over Zhang and the feared Deontay Wilder. Looking at his opponent in Dubois, he's a fighter who starts fast, looking to establish that powerful jab early as I discussed. And because of this, Parker needs to be prepared to take control of the centre of the ring as much as possible, and be willing to trade when the opportunities arise as Dubois comes forward. If he shows too much respect like Anthony Joshua did, or even what he did in his last fight versus Zhang, he really risks walking into something big or being set up. Holding the centre of the ring will not only allow Parker to dictate the pace, but also put him in positions that work in his advantage. When Dubois explodes forward, for example, Parker will have the space to step back before pivoting laterally, keeping him off the ropes and resetting himself to get back to the centre of the ring. While Dubois made some adjustments in the Joshua fight, there are still glaring openings in his defence, particularly his guard positioning and his lack of head movement. His slightly rigid lower lead hand leaves him vulnerable. As we saw in Dubois' fight with Hrgovic, this left him open to huge right hands over the top of it, something both Hrgovic and Joshua were able to exploit. Unless Dubois made major changes, those habits will certainly persist in my opinion.
When you're in the same position or under the same pressure, you will revert back to type.
Out the shot, Dubois just by taking the feet out of range. Another one, the right cross is...
Hrgovic is looking for that.
Lovely jab. Took him out of Dubois.
This is target practice with the right hand so far.
And instead of slipping punches, he often relies on footwork.
They need the 2 points on the
The jab of Hrgovic when he's stepping forward.
Or weaving level changes.
This is going through.
Parker is more than capable of taking advantage of these openings, especially with his ability to set up power shots when using throwaway punches. These are punches not necessarily meant to do the damage, but rather keep the opponent distracted or on the defensive, so he can land the bigger shot. And Parker often uses throwaway left hooks or jabs to distract or blind his opponent before following up with that powerful right hand. Whether it be a cross, an uppercut, or another hook, the New Zealander is great at setting up this punch.
For the single shot, he's not really been able to put to this point.
Yeah, he's just measuring the distance very well, isn't he? Good switch of attack.
He's found it really hard to this point.
He's going to need a lot more than bravado. What an uppercut!
And yeah, that's why he's been a former world champion. He showed his quality. That was excellent.
Another key weapon for Parker will be his uppercut, particularly when Dubois overcommits with his jab. Parker has shown strong counterpunching ability in the past, as seen in his fight against even Joyce where he lost, where he consistently landed those right hand counters. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something he looks to set up against Daniel as well, especially if he looks to establish his jab.
That's good from Parker, good right hand. Great heart from Parker though, coming back, landing a solid left hand and then a right hand of his own.
We also can't forget about his unpredictable left hook. He often throws it from a low hand position, making it difficult for opponents to read whether it's targeting the head or body. He also varies the trajectory, sometimes looping up wide, which adds another layer of unpredictability, especially when he combines it with his own feints. Additionally, Parker has a clever way of disguising his uppercut. At times he mimics the same looping motions of the left hook, but instead turns it into an uppercut instead, something that could split through Dubois' guard in my opinion. While there's no denying the bodywork could also be key for Parker, as we saw him use so well in his fight versus Wilder. He mixed up his attacks effectively, throwing combinations to both head and body, and given Dubois' rigid guard at times and tendency to just retreat with footwork rather than use upper body movement, the sustained pressure to the body could very well create those openings for more powerful shots later in the fight. This fight presents a really interesting clash of styles in the heavyweight division, and I suspect Dubois will look to impose that physicality early as I discussed, using that powerful jab to dictate the pace, to set up his powerful right hand, whether that be on the inside or from distance. If you can establish control with the lead hand and apply that pressure, and force Parker into uncomfortable exchanges in the ropes and corners, his power and youth could very well overwhelm the former champion. On the other hand, Parker has the tools to disrupt Dubois' rhythm. His ability to counter and mix up his attack levels and capitalize on Dubois' defensive gaps, particularly with that sneaky left hook or the well-disguised uppercut, could create those openings he needs. If he maintains center control and consistently works the body, he might actually be able to break Dubois' structure and force mistakes. And as seen with Parker, he has the ability to stick to the game plan, but his durability could well be his downfall. Either way, it promises to be a high-stakes battle where both men have a lot to gain and even more to lose. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. With both fighters such in form, who do you think will come out on top on February 22nd? I'd love to know. As always, this has been Jamie from Boxing Life, and I'll see you in the next one.
Who's acting?
Shut up. You
shut your face.
You shut up.
You shut your face.
Shut your mouth, man.
Is that all you can
shit.
say? Shut your face. Shut your mouth.
Talking
Talking
Yeah.
You talk too much.
Guys, handshake?
No way.
No?
After the fight.
Before I finish up, I just want to let you know about my boxing Patreon. If you want more content that go into boxing tactics, styles and techniques, my Patreon has access to exclusive in-depth film studies and boxing topics not found here on YouTube. You can support the channel and join the community, while my champion tier group level allows you to ask for an exclusive film study once a month. You can try it out for free with a 7-day trial. I look forward to connecting with you there.